Hello everyone, Strikoder here and welcome back to a new episode of the OSCP journey. In today's video we're gonna solve an easy Linux machine on HackTheBox called Broker, so let's get started. First of all I'm gonna copy the IP, let me ping that again and the machine is up. I'm gonna export the IP and start with Nmap. I would search the Nmap for, let me check, for the UDP as well. We have a lot of stuff over here going, so I'm gonna leave that back on my mind. If we haven't find our foothold into the machine through the TCP, then I would check the UDP. So we have port 80. Once we have port 80, I would like to check that in the browser. HTTP. I first check here, so we need to sign in. Okay. Maybe admin. Did that work? I don't really know. So here we have ActiveMQ and let me check again. So by making a private window, HTTP test. So yeah, admin was the correct one, and we get this website ActiveMQ, and we see graphic design by Hiram 2020, the last update. So it's an Apache software. We can search for an exploit on the internet. I would like first to check the source code, and while we are checking, we can run FUF, replacing that with the IP. We have a lot of stuff, so I'm gonna filter code 401. Oops, I've lost that. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me check. So that's probably because we need to provide the password. But I believe okay, powered by Jetty. So we can save that by our notes as well. And let me check. We can launch burp. Next, startup. Gonna switch to burp over here. Go into the setting. In here, 8081. Because I use 8080 for Bloodhound. And let me check. So we can provide the authorization as a parameter. As far as I remember, -h authorization basic like this. And now we can search for pages. So we have images, admin. I'm gonna just double check. Yes. No, that's correct. So we have images, admin, styles, API, and so on. We can check now with nuclei. We can start with headless and then remove that. Check the previous .hackthebox video, the previous video on the YouTube channel to see what the difference between with and without headless. And let's check over here. So we have port 80, 1883, an ActiveMQ service. We have in 5672 probably the same service on multiple ports running ActiveMQ realm. And yep, let me check over here again. We still have those pages. and it's still running. We don't have anything variable yet. Okay, that's great. So by now I would check the source code. There is a support HTML. You can run the FAF by providing -e HTML, but I'm not going to do that for now unless I had a dead end. We see. Okay, so far so good, nothing interesting. We can take the fav icon and search the hash and compare it. We can either upload or search by the URL. I prefer to upload that, take the hash, compare with other hashes and see what's the framework. But I'm gonna stick to the name. So I'm going to search exploit ActiveMQ. As you can see, there are multiple stuff we can test. So how to test for version? First of all, I would type version over here. We don't seem to have any. Maybe in the admin. Do we have version? Yeah, we do. 5.15.15. So 5.15.15. This might work, but I don't believe that's the case in our case. And 616 is a DDoS attack. So let's search Google ActiveMQ exploit POC. So we see here I've implemented that a while ago, 4 months ago, and we see a Python code. So let's get that, copy that, then what do we call it? Generate POC, paste that, Python 3, generate POC, and as the suggestions should be -i target IP, -i IB, -u our IB, POC linux.xml. So let's see over here. We clone this repo, we cd into it. I don't want to clone that. Netcat. I'm gonna start Penelope with all these ports because I'm used to start the 80 and 443 since I used to do Playgrounds machine. They usually have firewalls up, and with your listener port -i IB -b, let's try 4444. Start in the same folder to save XML payload. Python 3-m HTTP server. Let's try 2002. And then we have main. So, okay, we have generate POC and main. Now Python 3, main py. And what do we do over here? -i IB -u HTTP our IB. So our IB would be echo IBA. Wait a minute. IBA. Yep, that's what I wanted with execlip. And now we have that in here. Port 2002 POC linux.xml. We should get a reverse shell, I believe. We got that, but still no reverse shell. Maybe let me try with the netcat. I'm gonna try this on 1001. Maybe Penelope won't catch that. So here we see target, and let me check our target. This is our IP, POC Linux XML, sending packet. So here we need to provide our IP, and here the target IP. Alright. So we actually made a reverse shell on the machine itself. So I'm gonna keep the 4444. Right. Generate POC, our IP. Now that's serving it. Then Python main dash I target IP dash u our IP. And by now we got a shell. Interact 1. If you don't know Penelope, check that on GitHub. That's a great and amazing tool. So now we have a foothold. We can start with limpies and enumerate. Let me check. We don't have anything interesting. So we are at opt. Do we have anything at var dub html? We have the Nginx page. Alright. We have the user flag. Let me copy that, paste that into here. And let me try sudo session detached interact again. I pressed F12 mistakenly. So sudo -l. Do we have a shell? Yep, we have Nginx without a password. So first of all, I would try to run my GTFO bin suid. You can try that as well, and check for the GID SGIDs, but I've not added for the sudo -l, so I would go to GTFO bin directly and type Nginx. There is none. Maybe Ngin sudo privilege escalation. And we see here a GitHub repo. Made 2 years ago. Or we can check my GitHub repo as well. Ngin privilege. So in the CVEs, in the offensive security, I mostly document all the CVEs of the OSCP journey in here. So you need to sudo permissions for Nginx. We have that. Place the script in a directory writable by a user. Let's go to temp. Then make it executable. We're gonna copy that and make it vi exploit.sh. Paste that. The script generates private keys, so you can copy it. On your attacker machine, save the private key. Alrighty, and here is the source that we've seen before. So I just documented that into here with a bit of explanation. So sudo user spin nginx. Actually, let me check what the code is doing. Creating malicious nginx configuration. Then making the BID an event. Listening on 1339. Starting malicious config. Generating an SSH IDRSA for the root user. And then cutting it. Okay, so temp exploit sh. Maybe chmod that. Invalid option. So how do we do that? Maybe let's check here. Run on the exploit on the target. Okay. So we put resources in the file system with root permissions. So we make a key and then we would be able to grab that. So we would run the exploit shell. Enter file in which to save the key. Let's say temp IDRSA. No passphrase, same passphrase, and get the IDRSA that we have. Let me check the source code again. So we save that. Actually, let me run that then again. 1339 is taken. So it's gonna be root.ssh .idrsa. Right? So here it ends with double signs, 1xcs. I'm not really sure whether they copy that into the root directly. Let me get back. So the session is dead. So I believe here we have uploading public key into root user authorized key via Nginx web dev. Let's try this if it's not already overwritten. So vi idrsa chmod and then ssh-i idrsa root at ib. Yes. Let me check. Maybe because we have space over here. So it was not correct. I'm going to run that again. Actually, let me reset this since we have the port running. Okay, so now it's up. Export all IBs equal to... I'm not going to use netcat. This, then Python 3 here is still running. What do we have over here? Generate POC. Like this. Then like this. We get a shell over here. Interact to cd into temp. And we can copy this. So you can copy that code or do that manually by making a malicious config for Nginx and running that with sudo. But I'm going to keep today's video short and exploit.sh. Actually, let me read the code for now. So we are echoing malicious Nginx configuration, making that in the temp directory, a user called root with processor 4s, making 1339. We could have changed the port and run that again if we wanted to, instead of resetting the machine. And we're running that, making that, and then curl xboot localhost 1339 root ssh. Then we are prompted with cat the ssh idrsa. So maybe chmod plus x exploit.sh. Then run that. Root ssh idrsa. So I'm going to edit that. Let me try like this. Actually, let's save that into there. So cat permission is denied. Alrighty. So let me edit this. Actually, let me get back to this code. I believe now I understand what we are doing. So, oops. So let me double check. Listening on, let's do this on the root. Then we are using that put with curl to boot that localhost 1336. Uploading public key into root authorized keys. So we are putting this into here. Alright. So maybe let's do that manually. I'm going to do vi, or we have already. No, we don't. Okie dokie. So vi config.conf. I'm going to make a new user, make an event, let me check. I'm gonna copy this. Then the HTTP is gonna be server, and he's going to listen on 133. Then the root is gonna be the root directory, and the auto index is going to be on. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. Then I don't need to make that executable, I believe. Sudo dash l user has been Nginx. I believe with 1. So maybe we can man that. Let's see. Print help. Maybe with using dash C on the, no, on the temp. We save that in temp, right? So temp and config.conf. Okay, we still have the man. Maybe with sudo. And now I believe we can curl our localhost with etc password. Maybe with etc shadow. Yeah, that's better. And we can take root SSH. That's the main reason why I resetted the machine, because I want to check if there is actually, we can either check the IDRSA, but in case we have EDCDSA or whatsoever, we can check authorized keys. So we don't have that. We can either crack the pass, or let's get root.txt. Let me paste that into here. Nice, but I still want to put an SSH before ending the video because you know on the OSCP exam you need to get a shell on the root user. So config.conf. Let me check the code that was here. So maybe if we added dev in here, actually, let me take this. Nah, vi exploit.sh. So now I understand the code better because we did that manually. And first we're gonna edit that into, I don't think we have 1339, but I'm gonna change that into 1338. So we make an SSH in our directory and then we put that into the root. Yeah, now we can run that, exploit.sh. So it failed. I'm going to edit that. With 1331. So we uploaded that into root by the put method, since we enabled the put, oops, with dev methods, and vi idrsa. Let me actually delete this, go into here, copy this again. Wait a minute. chmod plus 100 and ssh idrsa root ib. Yes. Okay. We still need the password. Maybe if I moved idrsa into root.ssh, then ssh-i root ssh idrsa. I still need the password. Okay, you know why? Because I added that probably. Let me check. So here we have no such file or directory, because we don't have that. Maybe let's try and SSHing from here, because that's what should be. Let me home.ssh. I mean, I need to change directory. And we still need that. So that's because that didn't work. So let's try, and I was checking maybe SSH only enabled for localhost for the root user, but probably not that case. So let's go to here. I'm going to remove the, or let me go to config.conf. I'm going to add the boot into here. Dev methods, boot, and then sudo -l sudo user, or maybe we need to change now the port. User sbin nginx temp config.conf. We need the -c, unexpected. Let's try without the user. HTTP, this with this, server with that. Now it should be fine. I mean, that's strange. What they are showing here. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I miss semicolon. I'm used to write in Python. I was a Python developer. That's why I forgot that. Okay, so now we've done that. Let me check by netstat b. It's running. Now we can make an SSH key and put that into there manually. So SSH, I believe keygen it was, dash key generation. Yes, please. Yes. And we have that. Now we can use the curl from here, -x put localhost 1229, I believe, like this. In the root SSH authorized keys -d execute this please cat. It's gonna be home ActiveMQ SSH ID RSA dot public. Could not resolve boot. Maybe we need a big X. Internal server error. Alright. ActiveMQ dash. Let me try and check if I have a typo over here. So we don't have the SSH. But why is that? We've made this home active mq.ssh idrsa. Yes. Now we have it. That's strange. I mean, we created that here. We overrode that. That's strange. Am I on the free? No, on the VIP. But still we have the error. But now we have it at least. Okie dokie. So now probably the issue that we don't have authorized keys over there, or maybe because it's available but we cannot override that, which I don't think that is the case since we have put over here. So I believe I'm going to reset that, try once again. If not, then probably they closed that factor on the machine, because I've solved that a while ago. I believe 3 or 4 months ago, and that's what I did. So I'm going to wait a bit. Okay, now taking the IP, exiting from here, kill, export all IPs equal to this, then running the generate again. I don't believe we need to run the generate since our IP is still the same. We have over here interact, cd into opt, yconfig.conf. I'm going to copy paste that again. Cd into temp, yconfig.conf, then sudo. I won't provide the full path. Actually, we need at least for this. Then now we can try SSH keygen. Save that into there. Going up to the put. If we got an error, so I'm going to end the video. It should be 1337. Wait, what? 38 actually. So now it runs, and finally we can cat the home ActiveMQ.ssh idrsa. I mean, I'm going to be so embarrassed when I watch the video again. Maybe I've done a typo or something like that. chmod sshi idrsa root ib yes, and now we are root. So that was it. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like, share, leave a comment and subscribe. Always have this mentality to keep fighting on. Maybe you have a typo, or maybe because you are tired you are not focusing what you are doing, or maybe because of the port that we used is not with the port that we opened. So always try to redo the stuff and reset the machine until you get what you want, and see you guys next video.